You wake up because something is breathing. Not you, something else. It's close, maybe 30 feet, and it's on the other side of a fire that went out 4 hours ago while you were asleep. You don't have a phone. You don't have shoes. You don't have a name for the animal you're listening to. You have a sharpened rock, a body that has never missed a meal in its life, and about 6 hours until sunrise. This is the day, not a week, not a lifetime, one day. Sunrise to sunrise, 50,000 years ago. Before tonight, 5 different things are going to try to kill you. You'll see 4 of them coming. The 5th one is already inside you, and it isn't fear. Think about how your actual morning goes. An alarm you set goes off in a room you locked. You walk barefoot across a floor that has never had a thorn on it. There is clean water in the wall. There is food in a cold box that you did not chase, corner, or kill. You'll make roughly 200 decisions today, and not one of them can kill you. Your ancestors made maybe 40 decisions a day. Every single one of them could. And here's what makes this a real question instead of a joke. Your body is not the problem. Anatomically modern humans have been walking around for something like 300,000 years. The machine sitting in your chair right now is the same machine that crossed the ice. So this was never a question about your body. It's a question about everything your body was supposed to come with and doesn't. Let's run the day. You're up before light, and you're already behind. You lost water overnight just breathing. Left alone, dehydration takes about 3 days to kill you outright, but you don't have 3 days. You have maybe 12 hours before it starts eating your judgment. That's the cruel part. Dehydration doesn't announce itself. It just quietly makes you slower and stupider until you make the one mistake that matters. So you need water. And here is where it goes wrong immediately. You have no idea where it is. That sounds stupid. It isn't. Foraging peoples don't find water by wandering until they trip over a river. They find it because they were told. Because a map, every seasonal soak, every rock hollow that holds rain, every dry riverbed you can dig down into and hit seepage was loaded into their head by someone older, over years. You have thirst and a horizon. That's it. And even when you find water, it isn't clean. Every animal in this valley drinks where you drink. Waterborne parasites are not a modern invention. When they thawed Tsetse, the man who died in the Alps 5,300 years ago, they found whipworm in his gut. He had parasites. Everyone had parasites. So you drink, you take the worms, you live. That's one. Now you need to eat. And this is the one part of the day where you do better than you expect. You're a terrible predator. No claws, no fangs, no venom, no speed. A deer outruns you without trying. A lion outruns you before you've finished the thought. But you have something almost nothing else on this planet has. You don't overheat. You've got somewhere in the region of 2 to 4 million sweat glands. You are one of very few mammals that cools itself by sweating across bare skin while still moving. A 4-legged animal cools by panting, and it can't pant properly at a full gallop. It has to stop. It has to breathe. You don't. So the oldest hunting method we know of is astonishingly simple and astonishingly brutal. You find the animal, you push it into a run, and then you just walk after it. It sprints, it stops to cool, and before it can cool there you are again. Walking. 2 hours. 4 hours. In midday heat. Until the animal's core temperature climbs past the point of no return, and it simply stops being able to run. It stands there, and you walk up to it. This is called persistence hunting, and it has been documented among Kalahari trackers, though I'll be straight with you, researchers still argue about how common it actually was in prehistory. What's not in doubt is that your body can do it. That capability is real, and it's sitting in your legs right now. But look at what it costs. To run an antelope into the ground, you need water. To get water in this landscape, on this day, you need the energy that comes from food. Water needs food. Food needs water. Every single day of your ancestors' lives was that loop. Miss it once, you're hungry. Miss it twice, and you're not hungry anymore, you're starving. And starving isn't a feeling. It's a countdown. Say you get lucky. Say you eat. That's 2. And somewhere in that chase, you cut your foot. You barely notice. Hold that thought. Because here's something most people find quietly upsetting. Habitually barefoot people don't have soft feet. They have armored ones. In 2019, a study published in Nature measured the soles of habitually barefoot people in Kenya and the US. Their heel calluses were about 27% thicker. The pads under the toes, 31% thicker. Harder, tougher, and here's the remarkable bit, with no loss of sensitivity. They feel the ground perfectly. They just don't get opened up by it. You have none of that. The sole of your foot is about as tough as the inside of your wrist. You have spent your entire life inside socks. So you're running through thorn scrub and broken rock, and of course you get cut. It's small. It stings. You wipe it, and you get on with your day, because the sun is going down, and you have a much more urgent problem. Remember the cut. Night is where this stops being a survival story and becomes a horror story. You can't see. Your night vision is mediocre. Everything hunting you sees better than you do, and you are about to lie down and become unconscious in the open. So you need fire. Fire isn't a comfort object out here, it's a weapon. It pushes back the dark, it holds large carnivores off, it cooks. It keeps the group in one place. And you can't make it. Let's be honest with each other. Handed a stick and a board, no instruction, no practice, almost nobody watching this makes fire on the first night. Or the 10th. That's not an insult. It's a skill, and skills are taught. When they found Tisai, he was carrying a complete fire-lighting kit tinder fungus, flint, iron pyrite for striking sparks, and pieces of more than a dozen different plants. 5,000 years ago, a man walking alone through the mountains treated fire as so critical that he carried dedicated, purpose-built equipment to guarantee it. You'd be carrying a rock. That's 3. And the thing on the other side of that dead fire is not hypothetical. At Swartkrans in South Africa, there's a skull cap. It belongs to a hominin not one of us, an evolutionary cousin, from roughly 1.8 million years ago. Punched into the top of it are 2 clean holes, 33 millimeters apart. In the same cave deposit, they found the jaw of a leopard. The lower canines fit the holes. That is not a theory about ancient predation. That is a bite. So how did anyone sleep at all? They didn't. Not the way you do. In 2017, researchers put activity trackers on 33 Hadza hunter-gatherers in Tanzania and watched them sleep for 20 days. Across that entire period, 20 days, thousands of minutes, they found a grand total of 18 minutes, where every single adult was asleep at the same time. 18 minutes in 20 days, and nobody was on watch. There was no rota. It happens by itself, because human sleep is naturally staggered. Older people wake early, younger people stay up late, and the mathematical result is that somebody is always awake. The group is the alarm system. It's not a strategy. It's built into us. And you'd be sleeping alone. That's 4. But let's say the leopard doesn't come. Let's say the cold doesn't take you, and you shiver through to dawn. The sun comes up. You're alive. You survived one day as an ancient human. And you are already dead. Because that cut on your foot, the one you forgot about 8 hours ago, is sitting in DART. And you have no antiseptic, no antibiotics, no clean water to wash it, no bandage, and a foot that is going straight back into the ground tomorrow and the day after. Bacteria get in. The cut gets warm. Then it gets hot. Then a red line starts moving up your ankle, and there is not one thing in your entire world that can stop it. That's the 5th thing, the one that was already inside you. Not the lion, not the cold, not starvation. A scratch. For almost the entire span of human existence, right up until roughly 100 years ago, this was one of the great killers of our species. A cut, a tooth, a scrape, something so small you'd forget about it by lunchtime. You wouldn't be killed by the wilderness, you'd be killed by Tuesday. So could you survive one day? Honestly, maybe one day is one day. You're strong, you're fed, you'd be running on pure adrenaline. People have done worse, which is exactly why it's the wrong question. Your ancestors weren't surviving a day. Nobody survives a day. They were surviving a day, and then the next one, and the next for decades, with a body that had already been cut and bitten and starved and broken, and would be again. And they didn't do it by being tougher than you. Their bones say they were people. They got arthritis. They lost teeth. They broke bones and healed crooked. They did it with the one thing you cannot download. They knew things. Which leaf stops bleeding and which one, that looks identical, stops your heart. Which way the water goes in September. Which sound a leopard makes before it commits. And which sound means it has already decided how to carry an ember for 3 days so you never have to make fire again. None of that is instinct. Every single piece of it was told to them by someone who was told it by someone else, down a chain of people that runs back further than any written record on Earth. So go back to the beginning, to the dark, and the breathing, and the fire that went out. The hardware is identical. Same lungs, same legs, the same absurd, unstoppable 2 million sweat glands as the person who once walked an antelope to a standstill under a sun that would have killed almost anything else alive. You'd die out there with a perfectly good body. You'd die of not being told. That's the whole trick. That's the entire species, not claws, not speed, not strength. Somebody, a very long time ago, worked something out. And then they turned to the person sitting next to them and they said it out loud.